FTA that India has struck with New Zealand. This is the third in the year. This year itself, we have Ambassador Mohan Kumar to talk about it, former senior diplomat, joining us. Good evening to you, Ambassador Kumar. What do you make of the rapid pace at which India has been signing FTAs, bilateral FTAs, really with different countries, particularly in the last few years?
Thank you very much, Gautam, for having me. No, I think it indicates two things. One, we have seen the writing on the wall, and I want to tell the viewers that in terms of trending international trade, a lot of it is going to be preferential and reciprocal in the future. Right now, majority of the international trade is MFN, which is most favored nation. But anybody will tell you that is not likely to be the case in the future. And therefore, the future of international trade is preferential and reciprocal, that is to say, FTA. So I think India has read the writing on the wall. The second thing that India is trying to do is, as a result of the difficulty that we are having with the American market in terms of trying to arrive at a trade deal, since then, I think we are doing our own diversification. So we do not believe it's a good idea to just depend on 3 or 4 markets. For example, if you ask me which are the $100 billion markets for India, it is US, EU, Gulf, and then China/ASEAN. But I think what the Commerce Ministry and the Government of India is trying to do is to see whether this risk can be diversified, especially in the light of 50% tariffs from the United States. So New Zealand may not be a very big market, but every $1 billion helps in terms of India's objective. And therefore, I think this FTA holds a lot of significance. Also, Gautam, bear in mind, every time we conclude an FTA, we open up our market. Our industry and manufacturing becomes that much more competitive. As you know, one of the problems that Indian manufacturing suffers from is lack of competitivity. Now, with opening up of the market, even to small markets like New Zealand, the industry will be forced to adapt, forced to have latest transfer of technology, and forced to compete. So that is why I believe this strategy is important. We have done it with UK, we have done it with Oman, we are now concluded with New Zealand. I hope we will be able to do the one with the EU and the United States next. But as I said to you, every single market helps India diversify its export basket.
Yes, well, the UK and this one with the New Zealand are still to come into effect, but still, it is, of course, opening up India's access to different zones in the face of what primarily the US has done. To a certain extent, these markets have also been facing the onslaught of Chinese dumping of goods as well at very cheap rates. So they are looking for alternative markets themselves. But do you feel that such trade terms of FTAs will also help India get access to other markets, apart from the fact that they have got access to the markets that they have done these tie-ups with?
I think you're right. What happens is that supply chains are now very hard to predict. It should not be assumed that trade just happens from point A to point B. So I can give you several examples of products where supply chains involve more than 2 or 3 countries. So you're quite right. It can help India get indirect access to other markets in the region. But I also want to say that in terms of technology, for example, honey production, in terms of trying to cultivate fruits, we can get the latest technology from New Zealand. So you should not calculate this just in terms of dollars and cents and say that it is true that trade is only $1.3 billion. It's true that trade and services is only $2.4 billion vis-a-vis New Zealand, and the target is to make it 5 billion. So 5 billion may not sound like much. The fact is we will be getting valuable transfer of technology, maybe only 5,000 temporary visas, but still 5,000 is 5,000, and they will be able to go and work in New Zealand for 3 years. At any given point in time, 5,000 people can go and work. More importantly, I think India's labor intensive sectors get 0% duty access in New Zealand. That is big, Gautam, especially for
Certainly.
textiles, garments, for marine products which are facing problems in the United States. You have also pharma products, for example, which will now get access to New Zealand at 0% duty. All our exports will now get 0% duty. That's a big deal, even though I keep saying, yes, it's a small market, but
Okay.
nevertheless, every bit helps. And I think that is the kind of opening we are seeing from New Zealand. Last but not least, as the Commerce Minister said, $20 billion investment. Again, it's not like it is 100 billion, but still, this is valuable investment. Every bit of
Certainly,
investment, I think India should grab. Thank
every
you.
little bit counts, and that seems to be, the real leitmotif here, and moving things along in terms of trade, ensuring that barriers come down, not just in those territories, but indirectly also is a very significant component, because if you look at what's happened in Oman, it has an FTA already with the US for the last 20 years. So indirectly, we could also get access to US markets without those 50% tariffs. So let's see how things work out. Thanks for joining us this evening, Basit Mohan Kumar.